All right. Bye. Bye. Oh, Tim, you're by yourself. Okay, and Ed will be on. We just had the three-way group call. Who's that? Who's that? That Chico? Yeah, Chico. I did a better first show. Uh, yep, yep. Meant to be the news channel now, the real news channel. Or guys. I did a first show this afternoon. I did one long one, 20 something minutes, and then the rest. And I showed a couple clips with Trump this morning when he was talking. But the big story is Greenland. Greenland is, I guess, Trump got it. So I'm going to play the first one. Benny Johnson's going to talk about the Greenland. Oh, Chico, what do you say? You going to be famous, huh? You say something? Say something. Speak. 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 Huh? What? What? They're saying idea. They're saying idea. Ooh. But you all right? Huh? Okay. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. You looking out the window. Ow. Maria. I guess I'll wear this one. Can't find my other one. Oh, I'll be right back. There's Lucy Lucy. Yeah, I went on the first show earlier. Did some short ones. Be right back. Where did I put it? I just have to wear this hat tonight. Oh, there's Kay. I thought you were already in here. Okay, we got a lot of good stuff again tonight. We will go ahead and get started. What, you want up there? You want the window open? Get up there. Right back. I gotta get the window open. Come on. What? Come on. Get it. Go. Good. Well, you get up there. No, I'm going on, Turkey. Get up there. Whoa. Okay, he finally jumped up there. You little turkey. Daniel. Okay, we will get going here. Hopefully everybody will be getting in here tonight. Got games tonight to watch. See all the workers, Samantha, all the other ones, Greg and everybody. So 9-minute first one. What, too cold for you? Huh? Okay.
What's up, guys? Benny, were you lucky enough to have a salty-ass old grandfather that would sit on his front porch and grumble to himself about how if it wasn't for us, all these Europeans be speaking Japanese? You know that your grandfather's president right now?
And then
James
after
Trump?
the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps.
Not just grumbling on his front porch, mind you, but literally saying it to the faces of all European leaders here at the Davos World Economic Forum. Oh, man, that's just into my veins. Because Donald Trump took that and various other hard lines on Greenland, the EU has halted the approval of the U.S.-backed trade deal for Greenland's tariff threat. Oh. How long is that going to last? Not very long, because President Trump just announced he's going to buy Greenland. There you go. Based upon a very productive meeting that I've had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we've formed the framework for a deal in respect to Greenland. In fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America, NATO nations. Based upon understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled in effect for February 1st. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available when the discussion progresses. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and various others, as needed, will be responsible for the negotiations. They will report directly to me. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. So Donald Trump just announces a framework for the purchase of Greenland, for a future deal with respect to Greenland. President Trump came out swinging for Greenland at Davos today. President Trump saying what we have often said, which is that America already owns Greenland. If it weren't for America, Greenland wouldn't exist. Let me explain. During World War II, the Danish lost Greenland because they surrendered to the Nazis in like 6 minutes. And then to prevent the Nazis from then making U-boat naval bases off of our seaboard in the Western Hemisphere,
Chico,
and killing a bunch of Americans using Greenland to do that, we had to go and be the military administrators of the island. We went and conquered the island already. We conquered it. And we stupidly gave it back. And we complained about that constantly. We're constantly talking about that. And so why would we give that back? You know, we just saved your asses. And, you know, not only that, but Greenland is obviously in our hemisphere. It's a place that loves Donald Trump. This is the art of the deal in action. And, of course, it has so many other critical elements to it. Like, for instance, natural resources, Arctic bases, stopping ballistic missiles, the ability to access the trade routes that will now go north-south instead of across the Panama Canal, cutting shipping times down by like 50%. All of the battery power and all of the natural resources that are in Greenland, some of the most precious natural resources on Earth, and some of the best drinking water in the world, actually. But the majority of the frozen water, accessible frozen water on Earth is in Greenland. All that stuff's important. Reporters are trying to dunk on Trump. During his remarks, President Trump appeared to mix up Greenland and Iceland around about 3 times. No, he didn't, Libby. His written remarks referred to Greenland as a piece of ice because that's what it is. The only one mixing things up. Piece of ice. This is President Trump saying that European leaders call him daddy, and for good reason, because, well, he's home here. And
a few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right? Last time. A very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like running it. I went from running it to being a terrible human being.
Okay. Trump trolls European leaders with wild AI image of him planting U.S. flag in Greenland and fawning texts from world leaders. There you go. You got J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, and Donald Trump. Greenland, U.S. territory established 2026. There you go. And then he's posting screenshots from world leaders. There you go. Old, bitter Greenland lib ladies are being paid to protest, probably by George Soros, who's also at the World Economic Forum, trying to take back the world, trying to stop America. Not going to work. Trump says he's not going to use the military to acquire Greenland. Oh, well, that's nice. Isn't that nice? That's nice. But Trump did say that the U.S. military has already conquered Greenland. Trump posting this photo of all of Canada and all of Greenland being American possessions, and Venezuela being American as well. Here's President Trump going scorched earth on the history of Greenland. I loved hearing this. It's exactly what you want to hear. That America already owns it. That we already protected the island. The Danes already gave it up to us. There you go.
We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled. We did it. We felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory. And hold it we did at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now?
Just seconds ago, President Trump speaking at the World Economic Forum about the deal, saying the deal is going to be put out pretty soon. It gets us everything that we need to get a load of this.
I mean, it's a deal that now the deal is going to be put out pretty soon. I mean, we'll see. It's right now a little bit in progress, but pretty far along. It gets us everything we needed to get.
Will the U.S. still get Greenland? Will the U.S. still get Greenland, sir?
Say that convinced you.
Say it?
What did Mark Rutte say?
Well, he's a great leader. I think he's fantastic. The Secretary General was representing the other side,
Michael's not here yet.
which is really us too, because, we're a very important member of NATO. I've done a lot for NATO. And it's really nice. I mean, it's a deal that everybody's very happy with.
Okay, a deal that everybody's very happy with. We got what we needed to get. We got everything we needed to get. Well, that sounds pretty good. Okay, what's next?
Okay, I got a second short clip for Benny with the Clintons making news now. This is also 9 minutes.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. The single oldest promise that Donald Trump made to the American people is that Hillary Clinton would be put in jail under his presidency.
It's just awfully good that someone
Remember this moment.
with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Remember, the audience wasn't supposed to clap. You won't be able to top it. There's a lot of really great Trump moments, and they keep rolling in every single day. Like Trump at Davos this morning was just too much gold to even mine. But what I'm saying here is that Donald Trump has promised to put Hillary in jail, and he may well have just done it. Hillary Clinton may well be truly heading to prison. Well and truly be heading to prison. Because the House has voted to hold in contempt the Clintons. And it's happening right now. Like seconds ago, House Oversight holds Clintons in contempt of Congress Epstein probe. We have long predicted that the Epstein probe would prove to be something that Democrats swing on Trump with and end up hitting themselves right in the nuts. And that's precisely what they've done. They've hit Bill Clinton. I mean, what a cruelty. This old, diseased man, Bill Clinton, is not doing well. But his last years of his life are going to be, they're old. I mean, they're old and they're not aging gracefully. Bill Clinton's had all these problems. The last years of their lives are going to be spent relitigating the stuff that could have just died if Democrats didn't have a frothing at the mouth rabid obsession with getting Donald Trump over something that Donald Trump has no guilt in, but Bill Clinton has lots of it. And I'll explain that really quickly before we go through all this, because contempt, rarely used congressional enforcement tool, carries a maximum penalty of 1 year in prison and a fine of $100,000. Vote is the first step. The full House must approve the measure before it can be referred to the Justice Department. The vote was 34-8 to hold Bill Clinton in contempt. 9 Democrats voted in favor. The vote to hold Hillary Clinton in contempt, 28-15. 3 Democrats voted in favor of holding Hillary in contempt. The panel rejected Democrat amendment to hold Romney in contempt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I've been saying. Democrats have thrown Bill Clinton into the meat grinder. They've thrown him into the burn pit. They're done. The Clintons are done. They're finished. They are literally voting. Democrats are voting to hold them in contempt. Now the DOJ has to put them in prison. That's what they did with Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon. Nobody's above the law, right? And I just want to talk about Trump and Epstein because President Trump has had a relationship with Epstein. Everybody knows this. I'm not happy with the way that they've done the whole Epstein files. I think this is the single biggest own goal of the Trump administration. And I'm frustrated with all that. But this idea that like Donald Trump has something like deep and sinister to hide in the Epstein files is insane. You're telling me that they had the guaranteed way to make sure that Donald Trump not only drops out of the presidential race, but is then criminally prosecuted because you have some type of evidence of Trump doing something illegal with Epstein and little girls. And the Democrats didn't release it. You want me to believe that? They released the Access Hollywood tape. They raided his home. They put him in prison for tweets. And you're telling me that they had all the Epstein stuff. They could have just done it with one photo from Epstein. It was all just sitting there in files they controlled and nothing happened. That Donald Trump, typically criminals don't get up on stage in front of millions of people and talk about their criminal acts. Like this is President Trump when he was running for president in 2015.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
You got to be so low IQ. You got to be so smooth brain, so microwave brain to think that Donald Trump would just straight up be yelling about the name Epstein. In fact, it was Donald Trump who popularized Epstein. Trump was the one who made Epstein a thing by talking about Bill Clinton. And so did journalists at the time. This is a very famous journalist at the time working for ABC News, caught off camera saying she has everyone. She has all of the dirty deeds of Epstein. She got them all dead to rights. Bill Clinton was on that list. Guess who wasn't on that list? Donald Trump.
That we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us in a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything.
Clinton. She doesn't name Trump there. Isn't that interesting about the Jeffrey Epstein victim? Who's the victim? Oh, it's Virginia Roberts, who wound up dead in the middle of the Australian outback, one of the most rural places on earth. She was hit by a bus. And then she died after telling people that she wasn't going to commit suicide. She died in the hospital. Okay.
Hey.
Cool. Well, she didn't die in the hospital. She said she was going to die in the hospital. Then she died by suicide a couple weeks later at her remote farmhouse. See how that works? Yeah. James Comer saw how it works. That's why he forced this. James Comer said that Bill Clinton would be the focus of the Epstein trial. You know who agreed with him? This is insane. I can't believe I'm saying it, but The View actually agreed with him. The View hosts stun audience by telling Clintons they should testify. So does Jon Stewart. Comply. You should absolutely effing comply, Jon Stewart says. The Clintons. Geez, dude. Like, all of your friends are turning on you. Now you're held in contempt of Congress. A bunch of Democrats just voted against you. Look at these are the vote totals. Overwhelming majority. Bill and Hillary Clinton have been held in contempt. There you go. These are the vote totals. I voted yes. House passes bipartisan resolution holding Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt. Clintons are not untouchable. And I think so. People demand accountability now. Democrats put Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro in prison for defying a subpoena. You know, you could just and this is the ranking member. No one is above the law, right? Got it. You know, it's amazing. You could just show up and just plead the fifth the whole time. Remember this? Bannon went and did hard time. Bannon went to prison. Look at that. Ghislaine Maxwell tells DOJ, Trump never did anything wrong. They're going to have Ghislaine Maxwell testify too. Next. It's amazing. So what happens next? This goes down to the full House for a vote. Do the Clintons even have any more power in the Democrat Party? I mean, if you have this many Democrats voting against the Clintons already, they're going to lose. Because all you need is a simple majority. Then this goes to the DOJ. You think Pam Bondi is going to protect Bill Clinton? I don't know, man. I don't think so. You think the Trump DOJ is going to protect Bill Clinton? I don't think so. So, yeah, this is a big time collapse for the Clintons. This is not good for them. They're not going to have a great time. Penalties for contempt of Congress can range from rebukes to jail time. Yeah. If the resolution garners a simple majority needed for passage, the DOJ will have to decide whether to pursue criminal charges. House is not expected to take up the resolution this week. Okay, well, better get on with it. American people are waiting for this incredible Trump promise to come true. Because you'd be in jail.
Someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Promise is made. Promise is kept.
Chico! Hold down. Somebody's walking out the hallway. Chico, that's enough. Come here. Come on. So I got another Nick Shirley. The first show I had one, and then I got another one. Might have a couple. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Shirley, thank you for your testimony today and the work that you've done. You know, Americans hear these numbers of the fraud that we have, and you know, whether it's 10,000 or 10 million or 10 billion, sometimes the numbers, you almost become desensitized to it. And so the way that your video was able to show people the fraud sort of in real life actually happening, I think opened a lot of eyes and has helped to catalyze a level of scrutiny that we really should have had before. So you mentioned in your testimony that you think that what you discovered in Minnesota, that this is not isolated to that state, but likely exists in other parts of the country as well, correct?
Correct.
What makes you think that?
Well, now you're seeing, since I've posted that video, lots of other people have started to go to other locations, for instance, in Ohio or in Maine or in California. They're also seeing the similar fraud take place in other daycares, for instance, in a lot of other locations.
Yeah, I have a particular interest in California, being from that state, and we know that there's been a lot of fraud. There was $32.6 billion that's been confirmed in unemployment insurance fraud. There's 1.2 million fraudulent community college applications. Have you gotten any sense, or have you seen any signs there that sort of are similar to what aroused your suspicions in Minnesota?
Yeah, and fraud in California might be worse than the fraud in Minnesota.
What makes you say that?
Well, $24 billion went missing for homelessness. They've been trying to build this train for years, yet there's hardly anything to prove for that. Fires.
Yeah, those are good points. So you look at let's run through a couple of those because I mentioned the areas where we have confirmed fraud, but then you also have these areas where you have so much spending, and then we look at what results from that spending, and there's nothing. So $24 billion in homelessness, and yet the homeless population went up, and a state audit found that they couldn't even figure out where the money went or what the outcomes linked to that spending were. Is that something that is kind of a red flag for you?
Yeah, it's a major red flag, and you don't even have to be smart to be able to know that that's a red flag.
Well, unfortunately, our state legislators haven't managed to figure that out, or at least the governor hasn't. So what are you saying about him?
They're not smart. No, but yeah, I mean, it's so obvious, and that's what we saw in Minnesota is how complicit the government has been in enabling this fraud to happen. Quality Learning Center had over 90 violations, yet they continue to give that daycare $1.9 million.
Yeah, that's a great point. That there's the political accountability just hasn't been there, and that's what enables it to continue. So then you mentioned the high-speed rail as well. So there has been about $18 billion spent so far. No track has been laid, and not a single passenger has ridden the train. So when you spend $18 billion on a train and there's no train, does that raise suspicions for you?
Yes.
So you think that might be something worth looking at?
For sure.
We also had a $650 million 911 service that they scrapped after 6 years. So absolutely no value from it. Maybe that's another example where there might at least be questions.
I think you got a lot in California.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing what you find. We're certainly trying to use whatever tools we have here to bring more accountability in California as well. Mr. Dexter, I wanted to also ask you a couple of questions about your work because you have extensive experience on the law enforcement side trying to detect fraud. That's actually how in California we discovered the EDD fraud, the unemployment fraud, is it wasn't the state suddenly figuring it out. It was district attorneys who came together and investigated and in fact pointed to the fact that the state had let this happen and failed to heed their warnings and hadn't taken basic fraud detection steps. So is this something that you encounter? Like what kind of internal controls
How's this one, guy? Anybody see
make
this
it
one?
so fraud is more difficult, and what
I
type
got another
of lack of
4-minute
internal
one.
controls make it so fraud is easier?
Well, surely.
I would say the biggest thing was the fact that when we tried to investigate this, once we started bringing cases forward and it showed that the number of centers that we investigated were smiling, the biggest roadblock was the fact that they didn't want to follow through on these cases. They shut down investigations. They made us, in light of the report from this outside management firm, we spent nearly a year pulled away from our investigations because one of the things they determined was that when our unit started, we didn't have a proper case management system for recording and keeping track of the tips. So as investigators, we instead had to spend nearly a year entering past complaints made to DHS into a newly created database. We couldn't do our investigations because of that. So they kept us from doing our work, basically.
Yeah. So the states that make fraud detection a priority have less fraud than those that actively contravene efforts like yours. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.
Thank you. Gentleman's time is
Okay. I got a second one, 4 minutes.
Nick, it's so great to have you on. I first came to know about you when you exposed the pipeline of weaponized migration that came all the way from Venezuela through the Darien Gap and up to our country. So you were on the ground doing that. And here you are now in Minneapolis on the ground uncovering this. Really quickly, how did you get this tip?
Yeah, I had known about the fraud back in June, actually. Some locals inside Minnesota started telling me about the fraud. However, at that time, they were too afraid to speak out against the fraud because they were afraid of the backlash they might face inside of their own communities. And so over the past few months, I've been acquiring information, and Minnesota started telling me about the fraud. However, at that time, they were too afraid to speak out against the fraud because they were afraid of the backlash they might face inside of their own communities. And so over the past few months, I've been acquiring information, and the man in my video, the man by the name of David, he had all the information regarding all of the fraud. And so that's how I was able to go and make that video.
So the president saying that this scandal, this fraud is now could be as much as $19 billion. It's just astounding amount of money. Based on the investigation that you've done, is it possible that that amount of money and how widespread this fraud is could have happened without the knowledge of local leaders, be it the mayor, Governor Walz, or even people like Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman who's from this area?
Yeah, I think a large portion of them knew about the fraud. I mean, Mayor Fry openly said on live national TV that the fraud is very real. And so I think it'd be wrong of us to say that they did not know about the fraud, because they have openly admitted to the fraud. And they've openly admitted to knowing that fraud has been going on for so long and they hadn't done anything to stop it. That's why.
What's your best guess, if indeed they are complicit or somehow know about it? Do you believe that this is a money laundering scandal or just, straight up enrichment?
Maybe a bit of both. I mean, with them moving the money through the airports, that's not a secret.
That's right.
Millions of dollars have gone through the airports inside of Minnesota. And then it is interesting how Ilhan Omar's net worth has gone from negative to tens of millions of dollars.
It sure is. It sure is interesting. And by the way, the TSA is pretty much run by, it's almost, all of them are from the Somali community there in Minneapolis. So that, the fact that these luggages with cash went through is another interesting thing. Now, since you've done this report, I know you've been in that community trying to dig into more. Have you had any comments from the Somali community? Are they like, why are you here investigating? Or are some of them, embarrassed and saying, we're embarrassed and we want to help you because this shouldn't have happened?
Yeah, I haven't received any messages of people wanting to help combat the fraud. I have gone there since I posted my original video, and it did get pretty hostile. Literally, people were stopping outside of intersections to come and yell at me saying this wasn't my job to speak about the fraud, that they had governors and they had attorney generals who were there to take care of the fraud. And I told them, well, plain and simple, they failed because American tax dollars had been stolen from people, whether it be from a Somalian man or from an American man. The whole point is that fraud is happening, and it does not matter what race you were.
Well, Nick, I haven't seen a lot of Somali Americans coming out and saying, our daycare centers are closed. We don't have a place to put our kids. Clearly, this was fraud.
Okay, that was another short clip. Good one. Okay. This Nancy governor or mayor, we haven't played in a long time. This is about 7 or 9.
Y'all, look at this box.
Who's next? Miss Luna. Go ahead, Miss Luna. Then
I'd just like to remind the American people that I was the member that made the motion to hold Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress, and every Democrat voted against it. And in addition to that, 3 of my Republican colleagues voted against it, one of which did not come back because his voters decided that he was too swampy for them. So I just like to point that out. But aside from that,
Miss Luna, it's been pointed out to me you've already had 5 minutes. Somebody will probably yield you some time. So I've got to.
If I could just finish real quick. If we're looking to see why the files have not been released yet, look no further than the judge Engelmeyer,
I'm sorry, Miss Luna. I'm sorry.
If
someone can yield you some time.
Special counsel. I'm just saying I'm making a point.
All right.
This is all political.
So we haven't
games
recognized the Republican on this. Miss Mace, do you want to be recognized?
That would be great, Mr. Chairman. I have a number of documents I would like to enter into the record this morning with unanimous consent. First of all, I want to ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to stop playing politics with justice. Not a single one of you voted for your own party to be held in contempt. I'm the only member of this body, of this committee, that has held both Republicans and Democrats alike in contempt for defying a congressional subpoena. So the hypocrisy is real, and I don't want to hear anyone on the other side of the aisle say no one is above the law here on this. We're talking about human trafficking, sex trafficking. We're talking about children, girls as young as 14 being assaulted, being trafficked by wealthy and powerful people. This is not political. This is personal. This should be nonpartisan. We should be working on this together. And it's incredible that we're politicizing rape, we're politicizing sex trafficking, we're politicizing this entire Epstein thing. And it just As a survivor, I'm telling you, it should not be. And I've done a lot of work, Mr. Chairman, in advocacy and writing legislation for victims of abuse, male, female, and children, man, woman, and child. South Carolina, my home state, Mr. Chairman, has a huge problem with with all sorts of violent crimes, but sex trafficking in my state is up by over 400%. We have domestic violence in our state where you can't get a trial. And there was a case last year where a woman 2 years ago was kidnapped by her boyfriend, beaten to a pulp, her face just beaten in. 2 years after he kidnapped her and beat her, he murdered her on Mother's Day because our local solicitor refused to prosecute that case. And I have rogue solicitors and prosecutors and attorneys general who aren't doing anything to protect the people of South Carolina, women and children especially. Recently, my attorney general prosecuted a case against convicted pedophile Donald Gresh. Donald Gresh was convicted of having 1,900 images of toddlers as young as 3 being raped by animals. Donald Gresh, under the prosecution of my attorney general Alan Wilson, served 1 day in jail. 1 day. Donald Gresh isn't the only pedophile, convicted pedophile, that we prosecute like that. My attorney general, Alan Wilson, prosecuted this case. This is Travis Reed Gay. Well, the other thing, too, is that Donald Gresh, he was facing 60 years in jail, got 1 day. Travis Reed Gay was facing 70 years, 7 charges and 70 years in jail in South Carolina. My attorney general prosecuted this case. He pled guilty in November, didn't serve any time. He got probation. He violated his probation 11 days later. And if he violated his probation, he was to serve time in jail. The magistrate or judge, probably didn't have a law degree, let him out hours later. He has not served any required time for this kind of thing. And I did a press conference with a bunch of moms, over a dozen moms last week in Charleston, South Carolina, and there was a local media blackout. I asked, was it my attorney general who prosecuted this case and led this pedophile out on the streets? Was he the one that led the media blackout? Well, I want my attorney general in my state to know that a young child came forward after seeing my press conference and recognized this man. She filed a police report the same day because he allegedly followed her in a park the week before. This is Scott Spivey, killed, shot with a bullet in the back, shot at 17 times, not prosecuted by my attorney general. So I'm going to ask unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman, to enter those 3 images into the record. This is Weldon Boyd. This is Scott Spivey's killer who shot him in the back and has never really been investigated or prosecuted for that killing in South Carolina. I would like to enter that into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection to ordered.
This is Logan Federico. She was executed a year ago, yesterday to the day, by a man named Alexander Dickey. Alexander Dickey was a convicted criminal. He had 39 arrests, 25 felony charges. He executed this beautiful 22-year-old daughter of Stephen Federico in cold blood after stealing a gun. If her killer, Alexander Dickey, hadn't been let out by a rogue magistrate or judge or a prosecutor solicitor that didn't care, she would be alive today. Mr. Chairman, I would like to enter her image and her killer's image into the record.
Without objection to ordered.
I have another image. This is Eric Bowman. Eric Bowman beat his wife and has been alleged and is being investigated for other abuses against women and potentially underage girls. He was just let out free, Mr. Chairman, out of jail in South Carolina. He is a predator. I have reported him to law enforcement. He's under investigation, but I have written bill after bill about predators like Eric Bowman, about voyeurism, about these sort of criminal sexual allegations. I would like to enter his image into the record.
Without objection to ordered.
I have 2 more.
Can we get it? Your time's expired, but I'll recognize you for a UC later on, because I want to make sure everybody stays within their 5 minutes. Chair recognizes Mr. Bell from Missouri.
First and foremost.
Okay, we haven't heard from her in a while. That was good. Now we got Kay's governor.
unusual. One of the reasons that you've had three hearings is that in the first
2
hearing,
days old, but
you went through the
never saw
entire
it.
hearing without disclosing the sweetheart settlement concerning Locast. And the entire purpose of the second hearing was when that came to light. You actively misled Ranking Member Wicker when he asked you in writing about the $32 million settlement. You did not correct the record that it was in fact only 2% of that amount, $700,000. You also disclosed at that second hearing that you never notified the White House of this sweetheart deal, even though you signed it literally the day after they announced their intention to nominate you. My question is this: do you think that your failure to disclose the secret deal to this committee and your failure to disclose it to the White House, do you think that reflected poor judgment? Yes or no?
No, I answered Senator Wicker's question honestly. Okay, and on advice of counsel.
No, you don't think it was poor judgment?
No, I do not, because I was bound by the confidentiality agreement of the settlement.
With respect, no, you were not. The confidentiality agreement, section 6.0, prohibited you from communicating with the media or the press. The last I checked, the United States Senate is not the media or the press. You had an obligation to answer this body accurately, and you did not. I would note the White House is not the media or the press, and you told this committee you didn't inform the president of it either. Let me move on. You don't think it was poor judgment to mislead this committee or to mislead the president who was nominating you. Let me ask you a second question.
Senator, I don't agree that I misled this committee, so I would like to make that.
The record is, I believe, abundantly clear. And in fact, I will be sending out my cross-examination from the last hearing where you repeatedly mislead this committee in that hearing. And in fact, we'll go ahead and actually put this up. I'll note, I asked, did you disclose to the committee that agreement? I did. Did you disclose the agreement to the committee? I did. Hold on a second. Did you disclose to this committee? Yes or no? I did. You disclosed the $700,000 secret settlement? No. So 3 times you say I did, and then, oh, no. You did not. You misled this committee, and you also misled the White House. Let me ask you secondly, the 15 months that your nomination has been pending, you've made not 1, not 2, not 3, you've made 12 separate political contributions to senators running for office. I've been in the Senate 10 years. I have never seen a nominee make contributions to senators while your nomination is pending. I've never seen that once. I had my staff search the records. If we could find anyone in the Trump administration who had done that, my staff was unable to find that. You've been a significant political donor over the years, giving over $32,000. You gave. Do you believe it was poor judgment to give 12 separate political contributions to Democrat senators while your nomination was pending?
Senator, I'm a citizen who just wanted to participate in the
yes
Democratic
or no? Do you
process.
think
The
it's poor
answer is no.
judgment to cut checks to senators who are voting on your nomination while it's pending? No other nominee that we could find has ever done that. Do you think it was poor judgment?
Relatively small donations, no, I don't.
It was over $1,000, $32,000 over your life.
Well, that's over my life.
Well, over $1,000 while your nomination was pending. All right.
But not to one person.
No. They were to a dozen senators, to a dozen different senators, including senators who've been critical of your nomination and senators who have not. You managed to cover the waterboard of Democrats running for office. All right, let's turn to another issue, which is you have been an active supporter of a left-wing activist group called Fight for the Future. And I will say the record of Fight for the Future is really quite remarkable because they have blasted members of this committee on both sides of the aisle. Here's a billboard Fight for the Future put up in West Virginia in 2017 attacking Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat. The billboard essentially accuses Joe Manchin of being corrupt. Ms. Stone, do you believe Joe Manchin is corrupt?
Absolutely not.
You don't? Okay, well, that's interesting. I will point out, in 2017, Fight for the Future also erected similar billboards accusing Senator Tester and Senator Peters of being corrupt, both of whom are members of this committee. I can't recall a nominee who's actively supported efforts to blast members of this committee to run billboards.
Senator, may I address that, please?
You may.
When you say actively, I give every single organization with whom I work on net neutrality $100 contributions at the end of the year.
Ms. Stone, with
Doesn't
respect,
mean I agree with their
respect,
tactics.
the time is limited, and yes, it does, because after they put up the billboards attacking Manchin, Tester, and Peters as corrupt. Afterwards, you sent this tweet. Just made my end-of-year donation to this organization, urging others to do it after they did that. And because the time is limited, I'll note this group also blasted Marsha Blackburn, Dan Sullivan, and Roger Wicker, and astonishingly called for Chairwoman Cantwell to be fired. And after each of those, to be removed from as chairwoman of this committee, after each of those, you supported it. And in fact, I want to turn to the final point, the Roger Wicker one, where this group protested and said, you're buying a senator, and you said you don't support their tactics. I'm going to point out, you tweeted, well done, to this radical group who blasted the former ranking member of this committee and saying that his donors were trying to buy a senator. If they were trying to buy a senator, were you trying to buy senators when you made a dozen contributions?
Senator, I did not know, number one, that was about Senator Wicker. Number two, I was criticizing Senator
Roger Wicker right there.
Okay, well,
that is literally what you retweeted was his name.
that's fine, but I was actually criticizing the donors and not criticizing the senator.
Senator Markey.
Okay, take through there. Okay, we got the X2 report from yesterday. $25 minutes.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this episode 3822 AM. Today's date is January 20th, 2026, and the title of the episode is EU Panics, Trump Makes a Move on the Federal Reserve, Lutnick Says Globalism Has Failed. Now, let me ask you a question. What if you could do more with your retirement funds than just hope for the best? With My Digital Money, you can build a self-directed IRA that goes beyond the usual, combining Bitcoin, gold, and silver for real peace of mind. Imagine Bitcoin's explosive growth, the steady strength of gold, and silver's wildcard potential all working together in one powerful account. While the market zigzags and headlines keep you guessing, these assets help shield your future from inflation and uncertainty. Why let your future hinge on just one bet? With My Digital Money, you're in control. We allow you to invest in crypto, gold, and silver all under one roof, balancing risk and reward and opening the door to bigger opportunities. Don't settle for ordinary. Build a more balanced, resilient portfolio today so you can retire with confidence. Visit My Digital Money and see how easy it is to diversify and protect your retirement today. That is mydigitalmoney.com, or just click the link in the description. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the Pravos Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, you could see that they are now panicking. Why? Because the U.S. is going in a completely different direction than the central bankers want. And the EU, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and all the other countries that are part of the central bank system that are pushing the Great Reset, the Green New Scam, you could see that that's what they are doing right now. And we heard from Ursula von der Leyen. She is letting everyone know, yes, this is the direction that we're heading in. And we could see as time goes on, Trump is doing the opposite of what they're planning to do. And this is why you can see France, the UK, Germany, the whole entire European Union. This is why they're so panicked over this, because they're starting to see that, wait a minute, the United States is going to look absolutely incredible. The economy is going to flourish. And basically everything that Trump has done right now has destroyed everything that we've been building for a very long time. Basically, Howard Lutnick just pretty much came out, and I do believe Trump will be repeating this as he flies off to Davos. He's going to let the central bankers, the globalists, that their entire system has failed and it can no longer function the way it did. And this is something the central bankers do not want to hear. This is something the central bankers are actually fighting against from the very, very beginning. And Trump now, he has gained, I do believe, the leverage where he's able now to push his agenda on the globalists, on the central bankers, on the EU, and there's really nothing they can do. He's already shut down the Green New scam. The Great Reset here in the United States is done. And if the EU, if those countries follow suit and they follow the path of the Green New scam, the Great Reset, what's going to happen is America is going to shine and the EU is going to implode on itself. And it's going to bring down all the other nations, Australia, New Zealand, you name it. They're all going to go down and it's going to be a complete and utter disaster for them. Now, they know this, and this is why they're panicking the way they are. And think about when Trump gets control of the central bank system, which I do believe eventually he will, because right now there's a case in the Supreme Court, and one of the Fed heads is Cook, who actually lied on her form saying that she had 2 primary residents, and that is fraud. So I do believe in the end, Trump, one way or another, will get control of the central bank system. And once he has control of the central bank system, the deep state players, they're screwed. They know this. And you could see that every day that passes, what's happening right now is Trump's economic system is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And Ursula von der Leyen, she let everyone know that they're going to continue to go down the path of the central bank digital currency or the digital euro. And we don't care what the United States does. And this is going to be a complete and utter disaster for them. But when you look at the Danish, you could see that they're now trying to fight back against what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to acquire Greenland. And you could see the Danes, they don't want this to happen. So what did they decide to do? Well, they're going to sell off all U.S. treasuries. Who is this going to hurt in the end? Do you really think it's going to hurt the U.S.? Or do you think it's really going to hurt the country, the Danish country, and the people of the Danish country? I do believe it's going to hurt them in the end. The Kobisi letter on X put this out and said, Danish pension fund, Akademiker Pension, announces they will sell all U.S. treasuries by month end, citing rising credit risk under President Trump. The fund's CIO says U.S. finances are no longer sustainable due to weak fiscal discipline, a softer dollar, and Trump's push for Greenland. And you're going to see that as the United States gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and Trump takes over the central bank, and we go back to sound money, these countries that are trying to push against the U.S., well, they're going to start to realize this was the wrong decision. It's almost like when you look at Germany and you look at the entire Green New scam, they're starting to realize, holy crap, this was the wrong decision. We don't have energy. We can't manufacture. We can't do anything. The country is imploding. Companies are moving out. It's a complete and utter disaster. And look what's happening with India right now. Right now, the EU says they're on the cusp of making the mother of all deals with India. Europe will always choose the world, and the world is ready to choose Europe. So basically, all those workers that Trump stopped coming into the U.S. using all our resources from India, now they're going to be shifted over to the EU. And you think the EU can support all of this? Absolutely not. Wall Street Maverick responded to all of this on X and said, 20 million Indians with fake degrees are about to flood European labor markets. I wonder what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to work out too well for the EU. Because again, you could see the EU now is siding with China. The EU is trying to stay afloat, and they're pushing forward the Great Reset and the Green New scam. The one that they mentioned, and I probably should say Klaus Schwab, Prince Charles at the time, back in March of 2020. Yes, the EU was all part of this. They're continuing their path to move forward with the Great Reset, which means they're heading into a digital euro. And this is what Ursula von der Leyen says. She compares the shock of delinking the U.S. dollar from gold and the new global order it created as a lesson. that geopolitical shocks can and must serve as an opportunity. The seismic change we are going through today is an opportunity. So when we came off the dollar, we saw massive inflation, the currency devalued, and actually kicked off their entire new global order. So basically what she's saying is that now with the US and what Trump is doing right now, how we're going back to sound money, they're going to try to push their part of the world into the digital euro. And basically, this is going to actually end up destroying their entire economic system. Because once again, the people are going to feel the pain. And remember, the United States has the leverage over the EU. And as they move down this path, it's going to be a complete and utter disaster. I mean, all you got to do is look at Germany. They said, oh no, we're going, we're following the Green New scam. We're going to get rid of our coal fire plants. We're going to get rid of gas and oil. We're going to get rid of the nuclear power plants. And it's going to be absolutely incredible because we're going green. And you know what's happening right now? Let's see, manufacturers are moving to Hungary. Manufacturers are moving.
You're not going to believe what this shampoo does to your hair. I've seen
to the U.S. Trump put tariffs on Germany. Electricity costs are skyrocketing.
16 minutes.
They can't basically produce anything. And now they're realizing, wow, this was the wrong direction. The same thing's going to happen out in Europe. Actually, Europe is going to implode under the weight of their stupidity. And I do believe that's exactly what's going to happen. On the other side, we're going to see the United States start to really take off. We're already starting to see this. And actually, as we pull ourselves away from the central bank system, as we pull ourselves away from borrowing, and we move from a debt system into an income system, that's when people are really going to see the difference. And once again, you could see Trump is now setting everything up for this moment. He is now getting rid of a lot of the government jobs, transitioning them into the private jobs. He is now cutting budgets left and right. So this way the tariff system can be fully operational. Eventually, what he's going to do, he's going to wean us off of the income tax and give the buying power back to the people. He's already doing this. We're going to see this with the tax refund. We're already seeing it with low fuel costs. We're going to continue to see this as time goes on. And all those students who thought, oh, I don't have to pay back my student loan. Well, it looks like that bill is coming due, and everything that Biden has done, Trump is now reversing it all. You went to school. You have to take accountability. If there are no jobs, maybe you studied the wrong major. Maybe you were brainwashed into doing all of this. But now you must work and you must pay back your student loan. The people of this country are not responsible for paying back the loans that these people took out for gender studies and other things. Peter Sayong put this out and said, the student loan free ride is over. Trump is going after 10 million student loan deadbeats Biden was targeting with the 1.6 trillion bailout paid by blue collars. 5.3 million haven't paid a dime in 6 years. Worse default rates than credit cards. Absolutely. Because once again, what did the deep state players, what did the D's sell these kids? A false bill of goods. That's what they actually sold them. And now you could see that, well, you need to reap what you sow. And listen, you went to school for these majors. There are no jobs out there. So now they're going to have to make a choice. Are they going to go back to school and take out more debt? Or are they going to actually learn a real skill and work? Because now you have payments coming due. Now, most of the people will probably say, who cares? I'm not going to pay this back. But again, over time, it's going to affect them because this doesn't go away. It's not like a credit card. So let's see how this all plays out. And actually, it's actually showing the young generation it's time. Hey, listen, if you're over 40 and planning to retire someday, the window to protect what you've built may be smaller than you realize. Here's a question most people never ask. Is your portfolio built for what's coming next? Many investors in their 40s and 50s discover they have little to no exposure to precious metals. That means their savings are largely tied to markets, policies, and paper assets, with very little protection if conditions change. As retirement moves from someday to on the horizon, protecting what you have already built becomes just as important as growing it. That's where Noble Gold Investments come in, helping investors investors reduce risk by adding physical gold to their portfolios. Right now may be a smart time to talk with Noble Gold Investments. No pressure, no sales gimmick, just clear answers and strategy built around our goals. Visit x22gold.com and build your portfolio for the long term. That's x22gold.com, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. That you are held accountable for what you have done here. And think about it. Charlie Kirk was going around to the colleges saying, college is a waste of money. And all the students argued with him. Well, now they're going to start to realize what's really going on here. And we could see that everything that Trump has done, he is now setting the stage for the economy to take off. And think about it. Low fuel prices, tax refunds, lower interest rates, a cap on credit cards. This all goes to buying power. And if people have buying power, people feel good. And think about all the jobs that Trump is creating right now. Right now, there's a lot of construction jobs that are going to be created because we have to build the manufacturing plants. But eventually, we're going to have those jobs in the manufacturing plants. And as the jobs pick up, people are going to want to purchase homes because they're making more money. As they get their buying power back, they're going to want to buy a home because they're making more money. They're feeling good. And Trump right now has lowered the mortgage rate. During the Biden administration, and Trump put this out on Truth, it was around 8%. Since Trump has taken office, mortgage rates are down to 5.7%. So once again, Trump is actually bringing the rates down. And I do believe these rates are going to go even further. And think about it. When he actually, once the banks agreed and Bill Pulte puts everything together and we have 50-year mortgages, I know people are like, oh, no, that's going to be ridiculous. We're going to owe so much. But you have to remember where this is all going. First of all, most of the people do not own their homes for 50 years. Second of all, when we go back to sound money and you get your buying power back and you have a fixed mortgage, it's going to feel absolutely incredible because if you're making $80,000, it's going to feel like $160,000. If you're making $200,000, it's going to feel like $400,000. That's what happens when you get your buying power back. It's almost like when the central bankers took us off the gold standard and you had a fixed mortgage of $300 and you're making $5,000 a year. Well, all of a sudden your wages increased because they had to adjust everything, but your mortgage stayed the same. You see, when Trump gives you your buying power back and starts to pay off the debt, what happens? The money that you're making right now goes up and your buying power becomes very, very strong, which means that fixed rate mortgage seems like absolutely nothing. And eventually what's going to happen once all the debt is paid off, once he gets rid of all the income tax, you're going to have so much money that you'll probably be able to purchase the house all in cash. But let's see how this all plays out. This is going to be very, very interesting. But you can see at this point in time, Trump is going after the Federal Reserve. He needs control of the Federal Reserve for the next part of the plan. And I do believe he's going to get it because what do we see happening right now? Well, the Supreme Court right now is hearing the case in regards to Cook and how she fraudulently represented out-of-state condo as her principal residence. Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said, it's not a mistake that she got loans 14 days apart. June 18, 2021, principal residence, Michigan. July 2nd, 2021, principal residence, Atlanta condo. It's fraud. And when you look at the signatures, they're exactly the same. It's her handwriting. She committed fraud. She knew exactly what she was doing. I mean, she's a Fed head. You're trying to tell me she doesn't have the knowledge and the wherewithal to understand that you can't have two principal residences? Of course she did this to get what? Lower interest rates? Well, once again, Trump has caught her in the act, and I do believe she will be removed. I do believe Jerome Powell, I think he's sitting in on the court hearings, and I do believe Trump is going to have the leverage here, and Cook is going to be removed from the Federal Reserve, which is actually going to give him control. Because again, what is this all about? This is all about getting rid of the central bank system. This is all about giving the control back to we the people. And how do you do that? Well, you got to get rid of the debt system, the open-ended credit card where we just borrow and borrow and borrow and people are enslaved and you have to work harder and harder and harder every single day. And fraud is created by the central bank system because, again, you have criminals running the country. So once all that is removed, the people are going to feel absolutely incredible. And think what Trump has done across the world. He has basically shut down the globalist system. And now he's in the process of shutting down the central bank system. And we know that Trump and his team, they are now heading to the World Economic Forum in Davos. And Howard Lutnick, he's letting everyone know that globalism has failed. And the United States is now moving away from the globalist system. And this is very, very important because what is Trump doing right now? Instead of getting all our products from all across the world, we will be...
Watch what happens when a 50-year-old man walks DHT naturally for just 90 days. Day one.
Producing our own products. We'll be going back to sound money. And right now, you could see the EU,
7 minutes.
They're in trouble because they've been destroying their own energy policy, which means if you're destroying your own energy policy, you cannot produce anything. Because if you go windmill, solar panels, and you get rid of nuclear power, coal-fired plants, gas, oil, you name it, you will not be able to manufacture whatsoever. And now we have Trump and team, they're going out there to let the deep state players, the central bankers, the globalists know that their entire system is done for. We're moving into a new world, a world without a central bank, a world without the globalists, a world without the deep state players. And this new world, we, the people, will control it. And Trump right now, what is he doing? He's putting everything into place. He's building the foundation. And now he's going to be building that building on top of that foundation. It's a very, very strong foundation. And it's going to go up pretty darn quickly. Because if you have a sturdy foundation, you can put the building up pretty darn fast. And that's why during this year, you're going to see this entire economic system take off. Now, there's a lot of people out there saying, well, I'm still struggling. Everything's still high. Inflation really didn't go down. Remember, inflation doesn't go down. You can mitigate it by having low fuel costs. You can mitigate it by removing taxes. You can mitigate it. But again, inflation is cumulative. This is the way the central bank is structured. Can Trump stop the inflation from going up? Yes, he can. Will the other inflation go away? No. Can he give you more buying power by taking gas and bringing it from $4 to $2 or $2 to $1? Absolutely. Can you give you more money to fight the inflation that's already there by giving you incredible tax refunds? Absolutely. Can he fight inflation by giving you a better job with higher wages? Absolutely. How do we get rid of inflation completely? We need to pay off the debt. We need to reverse everything the central bank has done. And then the buying power comes back to the people. So for people to understand inflation, it's pretty much like if someone is 150 pounds and they gain 100 pounds in 2 years. So now they weigh 250. And instead of putting on 50 pounds a year, they're only putting on 5 pounds a year. Now, does all that weight that you already put on, does that go away? Or are you mitigating the amount of weight that you're putting on? You're no longer putting on 50, you're only putting on 5, but you're still adding 5 to your weight. So the only way to get rid of the weight is to go on a calorie deficit and work out and things like that. And then you could start to lose the weight. The same thing with inflation. Inflation has been cumulative since 1971 when we came off the gold standard. It's about 3,000% inflation. This is why when you hear, oh, look, we're at 1% inflation or 2% inflation, that's why we never go back to 1971 prices, because you don't get rid of the inflation. It stays. You're just adding inflation slower. That's all you're doing. So for Trump to reverse this, he has to pay off the debt. And I do believe this is why he's been talking about paying off the debt. And I do believe this is why he started the stable coin. This is why he's looking at crypto. This is why I do believe he's going to be revaluing gold and allowing gold to move up and up and up and up. And I do believe it's going to continue to move up. I do believe silver is going to continue to move up. And eventually, we're probably going to be around $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 worth of gold, and probably 500, 600. Again, this is my opinion. But if you look at the calculations going way back to 1913, that's where we really stand right now. And when we revalue the gold and we revalue the silver, well, everything changes. It actually gives Trump even more leverage. I mean, if you look at gold right now, it's around 4,700 plus it per ounce. If you look at silver, what is it, 90 plus per ounce? I mean, just go back a couple of years. I mean, I remember back in 2012, 2015, 2013, 14, 15, silver was what, between $15 and $20 an ounce? Gold was what, $1,400 an ounce? Everything has changed. And I do believe it's going to continue to change as time goes on, especially when you see the rest of the world falter and you see the U.S. shine like we've never seen before. And when people realize the U.S. is heading in the right direction, and when people realize that Trump is removing the central bank system, that's when gold is really going to start to move up. I mean, it's moving up now, but it's really going to shine. And I do believe when Trump says we're entering the golden age, we're truly entering the golden age. And what does that really mean? It means you get your buying power back. It means we go back to sound money. It means you're no longer a slave to a central bank system. That is what it means. And that's what people are going to experience it. And when people experience it, they're never, ever going to forget it. Because when you're making a lot more money and your buying power is returned, think about everyone that has a mortgage today. The mortgage is going to feel like absolutely nothing to them. And people are going to say, holy crap, my $1,500 mortgage, it's like nothing. My $2,000 mortgage, it's like nothing. My $3,000 mortgage, it's like nothing. Because once you get your buying power back, people are going to go, holy crap. And it's very easy to say. All you got to do is look at what Trump is doing right now. Once he moves forward with removing the income tax, those people at the lower income bracket, the middle income bracket, all of a sudden they're going to get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. When you get that money back and you don't have to pay income tax anymore, well, how does that mortgage payment look? Looks pretty darn nice, doesn't it? Looks like, wow, I can afford this no problem now. And actually, I have a lot more money left over. Now think about when he removes the inflation and he gives you your full buying power back. Everything is about to change. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
Okay, another good one of them next two report out yesterday's. Next two is a lady from on YouTube, a new one. I got 5 minutes on both of them.
Energy, crime, and even prisons. Here's your About Minute for January 20th. Let's jump in. In Colorado, lawmakers are moving quickly on immigration enforcement, or more accurately, restricting it. A new bill, Senate Bill 26005, would open the door for lawsuits in state court whenever someone claims their federal rights were violated during immigration enforcement, even allowing suits against private individuals who are deemed to have participated. Critics, including county sheriffs, warned the bill's broad language and mandatory attorney fee provisions could chill cooperation with ICE and expose law enforcement, contractors, and even private citizens to costly litigation. That concern is underscored by how immigration enforcement is being portrayed nationally. A new commentary breaks down how corporate media reframed a Minneapolis ICE arrest as oppression, omitting that the individual involved was arrested for obstruction after refusing lawful police commands, a pattern critics say misleads the public and undermines enforcement. Back here at home, Colorado's budget pressures continue to mount. Medicaid spending has exploded since the pandemic, growing at nearly 3 times its pre-COVID rate and now consuming close to a third of the state's general fund. Budget analysts warn this growth is crowding out funding for other priorities and forcing lawmakers towards difficult choices as federal dollars dry up. Those trade-offs are showing up in corrections, for example. Colorado's prison system is operating near full capacity, severely understaffed, and projected to run out of beds. Yet, the Department of Corrections is simultaneously funding high-salary positions to administer gender-affirming care for inmates, following a class action settlement. Critics argue the state's priorities are upside down as safety, staffing, and rehabilitation strain under the weight of overcrowding. Public safety issues extend beyond prisons. Police have arrested an 18-year-old man accused of planting homemade explosive devices along the High Line Canal Trail near Denver after months of damage and public concern. In Southeast Denver, copper theft has also been blamed for week-long phone outages that left businesses and residents without reliable landline service, raising alarms about infrastructure vulnerability and crime. Colorado Parks and Wildlife has also released a detailed plan to reintroduce wolverines to the state's high country. The plan outlines a multi-year strategy and emphasizes lessons learned from the state's controversial gray wolf reintroduction, as officials argue Colorado is critical to the species' long-term survival. Energy policy could be headed for a major shift as well. A forthcoming Public Utilities Commission sunset hearing may reshape how energy decisions are made in Colorado, with concerns that state regulators are seeking more authority and less transparency, potentially weakening local control and public oversight. Education is another pressure point. Colorado Public Schools lost more than 10,000 students this year, the steepest drop since the pandemic. While state officials cite falling birth rates and population shifts, new reporting shows homeschooling is rising rapidly as parents cite safety concerns, academic quality, and values as reasons for leaving district schools. Nationally, concerns over federal spending and oversight continue to grow. A new investigation warns that millions of Americans have been enrolled in zero-premium Obamacare plans without their knowledge, after brokers allegedly exploited expanded subsidies, costing taxpayers billions, while many enrollees never use the coverage at all. That's all for today. We'll keep following the facts, especially as these policies move from headlines into real-world consequences. And if you aren't subscribed to our Mountain Minute newsletter, we have a new section all dedicated to legislative sessions. So make sure you subscribe. And of course, head to RockyMountainVoice.com.
Okay, that's the new lady there. Got a second one for today.
My name is Tori, and I am your host.
5.5.
And Rocky Mountain Voice is an unabashedly right-of-center, pro-citizen news source. We're on a mission to save our state by building community and reporting the news, unfiltered, uncensored, and unapologetically pro-Colorado. Always free, no paywalls ever. And if you aren't subscribed to our newsletter, that is a great place to start. You can subscribe and read all of the articles we discuss here on the podcast at RockyMountainVoice.com. Also, make sure to check us out on social media for even deeper dives on some of the topics we discuss here. Yesterday, we had a video on SB 26005, a bill on immigration enforcement you must know about. And with all of that, let's jump into your Mountain Minute for January 21st. We start at the Capitol, where Colorado lawmakers are entering the new legislative session, already bracing for more legal fights with Washington, largely of their own making. A new Rocky Mountain Voice analysis breaks down how Colorado's immigration policy continues to prioritize ideology over enforcement. Lawmakers are moving early on bills tied to ICE cooperation, including measures that expand the state's ability to sue over immigration-related rights claims. One of those laws, SB 25276, grew far beyond what sponsors initially described, expanding restrictions on cooperation with federal immigration enforcement across schools, childcare centers, libraries, healthcare facilities, jails, and local governments. The bill now sits at the center of an active federal lawsuit, with critics warning it weakens local control, creates unfunded mandates, and risks federal funding. Warnings that were, of course, rejected as the bill moved quickly through the legislature last session. In Denver, a new analysis shows homelessness isn't just about rent. Despite hundreds of millions of dollars spent over recent years, the city's homeless problem continues to grow, with spending heavily concentrated on services, administration, and temporary programs rather than long-term exits from homelessness. Critics say the data raises serious questions about accountability and whether the current approach is actually reducing homelessness or just sustaining it. Inside Colorado's prison system, the Department of Corrections is investigating an incident involving Tina Peters at the La Vista Correctional Facility. State officials confirmed an altercation occurred with another inmate. No one was injured, and an administrative investigation is underway. The incident comes as Peters continues to serve a 9-year sentence related to a 2021 election security breach. Energy policy is also hitting close to home. Boulder businesses say they lost tens of thousands of dollars each after Xcel Energy shut off power for days during planned wildfire mitigation outages. A Boulder Chamber of Commerce survey found widespread financial damage and lost wages, while Xcel says it will not reimburse businesses, reigniting debate over who bears the cost of public safety power shutoffs. At the same time, Colorado air regulators are proposing steep fee increases up to 65 to 70% over 2 years on businesses that emit even modest pollution. The state says the higher fees are needed to fund expanding regulatory demands, while critics warn the cost will be passed down to consumers and small businesses already under pressure. On law enforcement, Governor Jared Polis pushed back on claims that Colorado's sanctuary laws prevent cooperation with federal agencies, saying local police can and should work with the DEA on criminal matters. The comments followed concerns from federal officials that sanctuary policies may be having a chilling effect on efforts to combat drug cartels operating in the state. Beyond public safety and energy, a cultural shift is also taking shape. A new Rocky Mountain Voice commentary argues conservatives are no longer mistaking ideological attacks for misunderstandings and are beginning to speak plainly instead of retreating. The piece says years of silence in response to moral accusations allowed distorted narratives to dominate, especially on issues like immigration, policing, education, and child protection. Nationally, the U.S. Supreme Court is being asked to weigh in on whether public school teachers can be punished for off-duty speech. The case stems from teachers disciplined or fired for social media posts made outside of work, raising concerns that public employees may be losing First Amendment protections if their views are deemed controversial. And finally, federal officials unveiled a set of options for managing the Colorado River after 7 basin states failed to reach an agreement. With current operating rules expiring at the end of 2026, the Bureau released multiple alternatives, but stopped short of choosing one, signaling growing federal involvement as water scarcity intensifies across the West. That's all for today, folks. As a reminder, head to RockyMountainVoice.com for all these stories and more. And we'll see you tomorrow. But first, of course,
Okay, she was good. A 9-minute interview. I don't know if you guys heard this one.
Yeah, they rebranded and reopened under a different name,
remember this
and
one?
then Kanakuk and Cross International still gave them money.
Holy
So to all the Kanakuk donors out there, people giving them your business, you're funding this.
organ of kids and trafficking and
It's with NDAs. There's definitely thousands.
there's definitely thousands.
Yeah, so only 1 in 7 child sexual abuse victims ever come forward. So that's like a conservative calculation. If the prosecutor this is just Pete Newman, remember, 1 serial perpetrator, 55 victims known at the time of his sentencing,
Okay.
prosecutor estimating a true count in the hundreds. But, 55 victims came forward in the criminal trial. I know of over 205 in our database right now, like Pete Newman related, and then way more
It's
beyond
1
that.
in 7.
Yeah, and then what?
50,
So then
that's what,
times
like
that by 7.
It's like 350, right?
Well, if we're talking 205 Newman victims in our database that have come forward so far, times 7,
Holy shit.
and that's Pete Newman.
That's just one. And how many are there?
Over 70. So when you start following the money and seeing their goal is to continue making this camp a cash cow because it's serving Joe White. You just heard me say like they've made 11.7 million in that period of time personally, the White family through their church camp. That's where their heart lies. That's what they're pursuing. And it's in the name of souls saved, but at what cost, right? So then they have this thing called Kanakuk Haiti that Joe White started in 1991. And then they partnered with an organization called Cross International. And Cross International was also called Cross Catholic Outreach. So there's a Catholic side to it, and then the evangelical side. A guy named Jim Kavanaugh was doing Cross Catholic Outreach. Joe White and him partnered up. So it's like, Kavanaugh does the Catholic side, he does the non-denominational side of fundraising. Cross International is 1.3 billion in general contributions. It's the 39th largest nonprofit in the US. No one's ever heard of it. Like, I've been in philanthropy for 12 years. I've never heard of Cross International. And then like 1.2 billion of their annual contributions are in-kind donations and medical supplies. But then when you talk to people who have flown to Haiti with Joe White or gone on these Kanakuk Haiti trips, and I've obviously talked to a lot of them at this point, they're like, we were handing out Ziploc bags with like candy and toothbrushes. I'm like, that's not $1.3 million worth of medical supplies. They're like, no.
What are they doing with the medical supplies?
Are there even medical supplies?
Or are they fucking selling them? Like, what would it?
I don't even know if they exist. I mean, so now the claim is that they are the primary source of funding for over 6,000 kids in Haiti who would starve to death if not for Joe White. And they go on these mission trips. And Cross International, they would give some of this money I was mentioning to Cross International as a pass-through. But then some of it, like to the tune of $6 million, just directly wired to Haiti. Or sorry, sent by check according to their 990 form. They're sending checks to Haiti to these Divine Shelter schools.
5 minutes.
So I sent some people to get ground truth on this whole thing. And at first they were like, well, few of these schools they mentioned serving don't exist. There's not even roads to get there.
This sounds like Minnesota.
Yeah. And then we kept...
Except it's Haiti, which is weird. Yeah, not that different.
Yeah. But this is an American ministry church sending millions of dollars to Haiti to feed the children. And on their website that they just refreshed, it's not like we're going off of historical information. They very recently updated the Kanakuk Haiti website. And they say by Pastor Edmund or someone, and then mention another pastor. And they're both dead. And so, like, who's running Kanakuk Haiti or like with Cross International on the ground in Haiti? These two pastors mentioned on your website that have been running things, they're dead. This person on the ground was a whistleblower for where this money was going. And they felt like they had to flee for their life when they told us what was going on with these organizations that Cross International and Kanakuk Haiti are funding. And I won't say where they ended up, but I'm glad they're safe and I hope they stay safe. But these were organizations. One was called Free the Children, and then they got investigated for child trafficking and organ harvesting.
Organ harvesting.
Yeah. And reopened under a different name, like Overture International or something. And then Kanakuk and Cross International still gave them money.
Holy shit.
So to all the Kanakuk donors out there, people giving them your business, you're funding this.
Organ harvesting of kids and sexual trafficking and sexual abuse and rape.
And silencing kids with NDAs.
Yeah. And then silencing the kid with a fucking NDA.
Here's the numbers on that. 1.5 million to Free the Kids, a charity run by, it's a Haitian orphanage, run by Priest Boisvert. Yeah, Overture International took over governance of Free the Kids after someone came forward with public accusations of sexual abuse against Father Mark, the priest running it. The board was aware of multiple reports, particularly Father Mark. I mean, this mentions like 3 perps, and they failed to act until they couldn't deny the case. And yeah, here's all the emails and things about that. American Catholic priest accused of sexually assaulting a young boy in Haiti. And this is all an organization that Kanakuk funds and Cross International funds. sorry for all the piles of paperwork, but I just want people to know I have receipts. This isn't just, if this is documented.
I think I think we should just get the digital files of all these documents and put them in the link in the description so all the millions of people that watch this can access the documents. I am curious. I mean, it brought up the FBI. So how's their investigation going into this?
So that's the reason I put all that together, was to present it to the FBI. Then they said, let's get in touch with the 10 worst victims, which is a horrible phrase and label, but who's been trafficked?
Most traumatized.
Yeah, who's been trafficked across state lines the most, whether it's to China, Haiti, or all over the U.S. And so I provided that. I talked to the, certain victims in that pool who were willing to speak. Some of them are still scared, or they're not okay. And a lot of calling around to make sure that this survivor wanted to talk. Every time they have to talk, it brings up, like, I'm sure it's true for veterans as well. It's like you have to go back there. It's hard. And so I don't take that lightly, right? When I'm calling a survivor for a clarifying question, or like someone wants to speak to a survivor, like, well, who's doing okay right now? Who wants to do this right now? Is it healing for them? Anyways, we do that work. We give them the list of 10 survivors willing and ready to speak. They don't want, the number one thing is they don't want this to happen to another kid.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe.
Oh, this one, you guys. Okay, we got a video that just came out, I believe, for all the people involved with the silver and all them. I got one for you guys. Never seen this guy before. I'll probably go to 8:30, guys. $15 minutes.
Introducing the first ever 5-ounce silver maple leaf coin from the Royal Canadian Mint, a historic release with an iconic design that is available in a stunning 5-ounce format for the first time ever. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of minting history. Available exclusively at sdbullion.com.
Well, Harry, silver is on the cusp of hitting $100 an ounce.
It could happen as early as this week.
This week?
I think so. I really do.
Silver is at 94 and gold is at 4,700.
That's an all-time high, and silver is about $1 off the all-time high. I don't think it's ever closed above that. So depending on how you measure things, they're both at records right now.
If you were talking to someone who was brand new to precious metals and you had to explain to them why are gold and silver going up, what would you say?
There's a mix of things, world economics, uncertainty about world affairs, the war still raging in Ukraine, the unrest in Iran.
Hey, what do you guys think, Tim?
President Trump's desire to take over Greenland and how unpopular that is in Europe. Federal Reserve, going through turmoil on leadership, and also just the idea that our economy is not doing well, even though the numbers say that we're improving. People aren't feeling it, and so the trust in the dollar is down, and so all those things kind of combine to create the frenzy. And the frenzy itself is what's driving the price, because a lot of people who wouldn't normally pursue the precious metals are coming in to our shop, and I'm sure every other shop, saying, I don't know anything about this, but I want to invest in precious metals. So there's a whole new universe of people joining the stacking community with or without knowledge. And it just puts a crimp on the supply, which definitely would drive up price as well.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of demand because the largest bullion dealer in America just instituted a $500 minimum. So you literally can't place any order at all if it's less than $500. Isn't that kind of wild?
Well, it's probably a manpower issue because their volume is massively increased, I'm sure. And the onesie twosie orders, there's just no time to pack them. And it's unfortunate for the smaller investor, but there's still places like our shop where you could come, and the local coin shop wherever you live, where onesie twosie should be welcome.
So if someone comes in here and they want to just buy a little bit of silver, I mean, they could literally buy one silver dime, no issue.
Not with me, not with Adrian. We'd be grateful.
What is the cost of one silver dime right now?
One silver dime is $6.70. I have to look twice to see if I did a typo.
I mean, a lot of people remember when it was $1 for a silver dime.
Oh yeah, I remember videos 12 years ago that I was watching on YouTube where people would say, you know, instead of my my donut at 7-Eleven, I'm going to go buy a silver dime. Well, that ship sailed. The thing is, no matter what the price, it seems like the demand keeps going up. Because as much as we bought yesterday, and we bought well into six figures yesterday in silver, our showcase still isn't full.
Yeah, let's take a look at the showcase. And as we head that way, I just have to note there's hardly any Morgan dollars or peace dollars.
One guy bought all of them yesterday. We had them priced basically at melt. He just couldn't pass that up.
That was probably a really good deal.
It was a good deal.
So let's see what we got going on down here. We have a few silver eagles, but I'm noticing there are some proof ones. Are those the same price as the other ones, Adrian?
Yes, yeah. Right now you can get some good deals on some premium silver because just a lot of the premiums have kind of disappeared as far as anything above the standard premiums for generic and eagles and so on. But yeah, we're selling them the same because we have to buy them the same way. They're just not commanding the premiums that they once were.
Maybe we could pull out a proof one and a regular bullion strike and kind of show people the difference. I mean, obviously you've got all the packaging and all that stuff there. But while we're doing this, one thing that I do want to bring up, the U.S. Mint recently repriced all of their numismatics, and the proof eagles, for example, went from mid-90s to over $170 an ounce. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, the thing is they have to overshoot because they have to work with these higher margins because they're very profitable and they want to not get left behind and not play catch up with the price of the silver. So you always see a pretty high premium because if you think about it, silver was about $25-30 an ounce for quite some time. So they were selling it at about 3 times of what
3x
what the silver spot price was, and now it's closer to that 2 times spot price. So always been a high premium on the U.S. Mint products. They're one of the best sellers, like Gary says.
They're the biggest coin dealer in America. And if I can just interject about the proof eagles, unless you want the current year, and I understand there are people that collect these by year and by mint mark, then you want the current year and you'll pay the 170. But if you just want a proof silver eagle, you can go to your local coin shop. I'm sure just about any local coin shop and beat the mint price for a proof silver eagle.
Yeah, exactly. So if we look at it, you can see proof means it's basically shiny. It's like a mirror.
Yep. It's the way that it's struck. Yeah. So it's more of a reflective surface.
Okay. So I just want to get this straight. If I wanted to buy a regular bullion American silver eagle today, I'd be looking at $101. But if I wanted to get the proof one, it would also be $101.
Exactly. Yeah. It'd be the same price.
Want to get it from the U.S. Mint, it's like $173.
Yeah.
So it's better to buy it from the local coin shop.
Yeah, definitely it is. But again, it takes a while to make the products and so on. So if you've ever made how long it takes to get a product from the time that you order it to the time that you actually get the product. So I think they're just trying to get in ahead of that silver price. But again, they do charge some very high premiums. So definitely your shops are going to be the best bet to get proof eagles.
Well, if you look at what they're doing, though, I mean, they're kind of projecting that the price will continue to go up. I mean, they obviously don't think silver's going back down to 50.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's pretty telling of the times and proof.
Yeah, same ounce of silver.
Yeah, so that's pretty telling. They're probably projecting for it to go much higher than what we're currently at.
What do you think about the U.S. Mint repricing the silver, Harry? I mean, do you agree that they're thinking the price will continue to go up?
It's one hint that we have a long way to go. They have MBAs and intelligent staff researching this stuff constantly. So they're probably on to something. The price. So they're getting out ahead of it, but apparently they don't feel too far ahead of where it's headed this year. That might be a real clue as to where we're headed because they're not stupid people. They are a master marketer of coins. And
I got
also,
the
they
YouTube
can get
lady
away with that
talking
kind of
about the
pricing, whereas a
Dollar
local
Tree
coin
store
shop probably
tonight.
couldn't, because they have a captive audience. People actually subscribe, where your Silver Eagle, your Proof Eagle, or whatever it is you subscribe to at the Mint is going to come automatically when they come out every year. They have a built-in, kind of like if you're a Netflix customer, they have a built-in audience that just renews every month or every year. We typically don't on the local level.
And Harry, you mentioned there's been crazy demand for silver. We have to bring up the refiner situation. I know we've talked about this in a lot of videos, but are the refiners refusing to buy 90% in sterling silver once again?
The major ones are anything alloyed, meaning if it's not 3 nines or better, they don't want it. And even in the 3 nines category, there are certain things they don't want. Adrian, you addressed that this morning.
Yeah, so they don't want to take any of the bars. So like the 1 ounce bars, 5, 10s, they are buying the hundreds, the kilo, and the silver rounds. But anything that's alloyed, I mean, they're just turning it away. You're saying, hey, we're not buying it right now.
For example, the junk silver or constitutional silver, if you guys had a glut of this stuff, people coming in to sell, normally you would be able to sell it to the refiner, but they literally won't buy it right now.
They won't buy it at any price. And furthermore, the stuff that they will buy, I've heard 7 to 10 days out with the firm that we work with, but I've heard other channels, other dealers talking about having to wait 1 to 3 months for payout, even though they'll take it, but it's 1 to 3 months.
Meet Jan. She's enjoying a beautiful day outdoors with friends and family. She's also managing her type 2 diabetes by taking Jardiance, the little
payout. I don't know about those dealers, but that's a killer for us because cash flow is critical to most coin shops, and we've got to keep spinning it like a wheel. And so to tie up money for 10 days or 3 months, anywhere in between, is really, really hurtful.
Yeah, I can imagine as a business, you kind of want to get paid sooner than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about a person's job. What if the boss said, we'll pay you every 3 months or even every month? It'd be a hardship. And when we're buying as much as we're buying, we've got to keep the cash moving all in a circle, from buying things to reselling it and restocking and rinse, wash, and repeat sort of thing.
Okay, so going back to demand, would you say this is the highest demand you've ever seen here at your coin shop?
Absolutely. And the only reason isn't the demand that we talked about, but the fact that, as we spoke in the last video, our neighbor to the north, Washington, they just put into place a 10% tax on bullion. So it's absolutely killing those shops. I mean, they're gone. They're going to be gone soon. Most of them are looking for alternatives, maybe sports cards or moving across the border to Oregon or to Idaho. We are getting all day long, not only phone calls from Washington, people driving. We had one guy drive 4 hours from northern Washington near the Canadian border to buy from us yesterday.
Just because he doesn't want to pay the tax.
Doesn't want to pay 10%. And lots of people from Longview, which is about an hour north.
We've definitely been getting an influx of people, and they just don't want to pay that extra 10%. And like, why pay it in taxes when I can get it in metal? And it makes perfect sense. I think it's worth the drive for people to come down and see us because you are going to get more metal for your money. And I really hope that they do away with that because it's really hurting shops that are, just small businesses. And if you have a coin shop, bullion's a major part of the business. And to be put out of business just for a 10% tax that somebody thought was a bright idea, I don't think that's fair for the dealers that have worked very hard for this.
It's definitely not fair. And for the customers, while they're here in Oregon, they could go grocery shopping or whatever because we don't have any sales tax here at all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, make it a destination trip.
Yeah.
And when you think about someone driving 4 hours, for instance, that individual and another individual from Washington spent the full $10,000 in cash that you can spend without it being a reportable IRS event. So think of that. Yes, they drove hours to be here, but if you spend $10,000 in Washington, you've got to come up with another $1,000 in tax where you get nothing for that money. Shameful, really, on the government.
No, I 100% agree with that. All right, Harry, one last question for you before I get out of here, because I know you guys are going to be insanely busy today. Silver price is on the rise. It is hitting new highs consistently week after week. Are we going to hit $100 silver? And if we do, where does the price go from there?
Well, we talked about $100 being imminent. We talked about the U.S. Mint pricing way over spot for the proof silver eagles. The world is not a peaceful place. The economy is not making people feel comfortable. At least they're not experiencing all the good news that we hear about. And so all those factors combined are not going away anytime soon. $100 is this psychological barrier. We break through that, I think 150 happens within weeks.
Here's the thing too. I mean, look at what it takes to buy a physical ounce. We're pretty much at $100 silver.
Yeah, for the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles.
Well,
and
even
I mean, look at this. Even the generics. I mean,
yeah, we've got generics at $97.
Like
so
for a buffalo round, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's ridiculous, but we're having to pay that to get it.
And that's only a $3 premium. But if you look at the percentage of a premium, that's an incredibly low premium for silver.
Yeah, because the premium was very similar at $20.
It was around a 20% premium. Now it's like a 3% premium.
Right. It's starting to be more like a gold premium than a silver premium. So, there's positive ways to look at this, but spin it any way you want. Silver is very costly compared to what it was a while back.
But you think it could go higher? I mean, $150 an ounce is possible.
Well, look at this. You had a live stream because of this momentous occasion of $70 an ounce. And that was $25 ago.
I know.
You told mom to send her prescription to Amazon Pharmacy. She didn't. Now you're...
It's not over.
Look at it now.
And how many weeks ago was that? 3?
Yeah, not too long ago at all.
It's very, very recent. So, we get through these barriers and we blow to the next one, which, I think after $100, maybe 150 is the next psychological barrier we blow through.
maybe it's 200.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I mean, we're only $6 away from 100 right now as we're filming, but we've seen silver go higher than that in one day.
Yes.
During this run up. So we could be at 100 before you know it.
I mean, it can happen today, it can happen tomorrow, but I think Harry's right. I think by the end of the week, we might see $100 silver.
Well, think of it, you guys. There's an aircraft carrier group headed to the seas off the coast of Iran right now. It's a day or so away. If the intent is to actually attack once it gets there, that alone will blow it past 100 immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as the headline hits, it's going to go.
And honestly, gold at 4,700, we could see gold hit 5,000 before you know it.
Well, from a percentage basis, I mean, as unreal as that sounds, we're only talking another $252. These days is about, what, a week and a half? And I don't mean to hype anything because I don't have any answers except I'm living in the same world you all are, and I'm amazed every single day. I mean, people bring in scrap gold to us, a little thin bracelet or a pair of earrings, and I can't believe the math when I go to pay them out. I have to do it twice to think, oh, this can't be right. I must have messed up.
I was buying a pocket watch yesterday, like, one of the old pocket watches, and I put it on the scale and I'm like, okay, and do the math, and I'm like, what? It's just
many thousands of dollars.
Yes, yeah, over $10,000, closer to 13. It was just like
just for the gold,
on a pocket watch. So it's like it's getting crazy. These prices are getting wild.
Well, they are getting wild, and we'll keep an eye on it. And by the way, Harry, we did just hit 400,000 subscribers on the channel. So
really, congratulations, Silver Dragons. That's wonderful.
Thank you. And I have to say to you guys and all the videos that we've done here, people love watching.
Okay, I hope that was okay, you guys. Like I said, I'll go to 8:30 tonight.
Series.
If you don't move your crusty ass and head out my face, get your crusty ass and fingers out my face before I break your face.
You gonna run yourself out, you holding up the damn line. Shit.
Okay. Go somewhere.
It's gonna make them girl think your brother is around that woman face. Good lady. Get your motherfucking hands on that goddamn floor.
As I said, that was lying. You clearly saw me in line. Now somewhere. We're waiting. Like I said.
It's not even worth it, man. Come on.
You on camera, so you want to. Damn! Really? Oh, come on. Wow, that's crazy. Oh my God.
Well, we got some breaking news. Hold on, I'll come back.
Up and maybe we'll get a ground perspective here. It appears like someone carjacked a Corvette. Somebody carjacked a Corvette. Hopefully the feed comes back here. There was another one up. Hold on. Kind of goes off and on. We shall see. San Jose. Take you to San Jose. Let me check out the thing feed here. We're in San Jose. It's what we know so far. Some sort of police officer involved, shooting, officer shot. What else? I don't know. You see if we get any news reports. Try to figure this out. Try to see what's going on. Crazy. Also got some tweets I'll put up here.
All right, so there's
Find
another
more details about this. Looks like the Bearcat is out there.
There's another shooting.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Calm down. Wow. This is crazy. I don't even want what I get. This is crazy, bro.
We're starting off like this, are we? Damn. Okay, so from my understanding, this customer was pissed because somebody cut her in line. That's why this whole thing started. Because somebody cut her in line and the cashier refused to bend to her will. And so she threw a full-blown toddler tantrum, breaking things in Dollar Tree. But you know what? Joke's on her. I bet her toes are really hurting after that.
Oh my God.
T Fairway here. How can I help?
I am playing the worst I ever have. I want to buy the same clubs my buddy has so I can keep up.
So he's mad because I'm expressing how I feel. He's on team. I can get out. I did, and he still rung him up. He knew he wasn't. He watched him. I did not know. He sat there and said, I'm doing my job. He's seen. No, he's seen. He's seen. He's seen. And I told him. And he looked at me in my face and said, I'm just doing my job. You got one of them faces that started. I come here all the time. He gonna talk to my get out. Do you see the owner of the Dollar Tree? Okay. Now he don't got everybody. He don't. Yeah, well, listen, who was being disrespectful? I was being disrespectful. I did. I said it to both of them. He's bringing it up. He got to say something. But it's not just. Yeah. Hello. Well, I ain't sending it to you. I'm sorry. I started arguing with you and people in the dollar store. Hold on, let me tell you something.
So the original poster of this says apparently someone had cut in front of the woman and she spoke up. The cashier told her she could get out. Again, what is with these temper tantrums about people getting cut in line? Okay, I understand. Like, we're all adults. We shouldn't be cutting in line. But still, is it worth a temper tantrum? That is the question here. Okay, so this says POV, point of view. No one was at the register, so you volunteered and ended up getting kicked out of Dollar Tree. So this is a customer checking out his own stuff, apparently, because there was nobody there to do it for him. I believe it.
I'm volunteering.
He's up there.
For some reason.
Just take it.
Just take it. Sure.
You want to run?
Oh, darn, we didn't get to see him get kicked out. I believe he was, though. I understand the frustration. Like, I've been into a store, not a Dollar Tree, but I've been into a store before where I'm like standing around like, does anybody work here? I'm pretty sure it was a Walgreens. I'm like, does anybody work here? And I understand how that frustration can just like become enough. And you're just like, fine, I'll jump behind the damn register and do it myself.
I'm here at the Dollar Tree, and I want you all to know where this starts. The Dollar Tree in Cedar Hill.
So this is how long the line is. She's showing us like where she started was the back of the line, and now she's showing us where it starts.
The line goes from here all the way to back here. This is the line, people. Dollar Tree and Cedar Hill. This is the line.
Do you really need shit at Dollar Tree that bad you're willing to stand in that line? Holy cow. Like, I understand that, you know, Dollar Tree probably understaffs and underpays people, but my God, Dollar Tree, you do need to do better. And for all the customers actually waiting in this line, why are you waiting in this line? It's like it's Black Friday or something, and it's not. It's probably just a regular Tuesday. Oh, that's why. This was posted 2 days before Christmas 2025. So this is a recent video. This was like 2 days before Christmas. I guess these people really did think that they needed all of this stuff that bad. That explains why there's so many people at Dollar Tree. It was for Christmas. But still, Dollar Tree, do better. Properly staff when you know you're going to have a lot of customers in the store, especially for the holidays.
Go to hell, you lying Democratic bastard. You bitch.
That was interesting.
Go to hell, you lying Democratic bastard.
Go to hell, you hypocritic bastard. I want to know what it was about. We have no context, but that was still funny as hell.
We know, me too. Girl, hell. Just because you see a dick right there, you didn't even come that way. We're lying. Your dick still hanging out the side.
I'm not going to repeat that, but that was kind of funny. I want to know what the drama was about.
Well, I was right. Pretty crazy, huh? Holy cow. Wow. Well, I hope.
So this was posted like the week before Christmas of this year. Holy cow. They drove their car into a Dollar Tree.
Looking for a new vitamin routine? Try the Daily 4 from Nature Made, a 4-supplement routine.
12 minutes.
This caption reads 10-cent sale at Dollar Tree. Manager Steve told them to toss it. Why was it in the office? Oh, so this must be a circumstance where they marked down prices to like 10 cents or 25 cents or a penny. And a customer wanted to buy them, but what ends up happening is Dollar Tree managers or employees say, nope, sorry, those are supposed to be pulled from inventory. But if they're on the floor, I mean, at least I think a customer has every right to buy them. So it looks like the customer was trying to buy them and the manager was hiding them back in the office for some reason and asked them to go get them.
Definitely not picking those up because you've been ass.
She says, I'm not picking those up because you've been ass.
You're the messenger.
Oh my God.
Can you come up here, please, somebody? Yeah, he's You're the messenger.
Do you hear the sound of that poor cashier's voice? Like, please, can you come up here? They're so underpaid and overworked and understaffed. It's so sad. Again, Dollar Tree, do better.
There's your $10,000, man. So what's your problem? So if I just take care of it so you can leave. Or you can leave.
I still need my 5 cents, bro. I gave you $21.35. The lady bill was $11.30.
And here's 75 cents.
I don't want 75 cents. I just want what's mine. Right?
That's 75 cents.
I don't want your money, son.
Give them exactly what you're supposed to give them.
Just give me
And I'll need majority.
Okay, this $10 right here.
That's 10?
That's your.
Okay, so how much do I owe you?
A nickel.
A nickel. One nickel.
One nickel.
You don't have change there?
I got breakfast on my store away. Here you go, man. Don't be like that, bro. You need to stop it. You don't need to do that. I'm gonna have a good
Hang
day.
on.
God bless you. I am blessed.
Did you get checked out?
No, I didn't.
All right.
I was saying for that bad stuff.
Let's get that.
You must have bad things.
I understand the principle of things. I really do. I get it. But is all of this worth a nickel? You're going to take time out of your day to have this kind of negative interaction with another human being over a nickel? Let's choose our battles wisely here, people.
Card, you only insert it right here. Listen, you got 2 seconds. You got 2 seconds to insert that card, or I'm going to void the transaction, and you're going to have to leave. I want to check when I said you must be quiet. No, you must do what I'm telling you to do. It won't work. I want to check when I said. You just did. It didn't work. You can't swipe it. It's not that type of card.
Just, you have to insert the chip. You can't swipe the card. Yeah, let's not listen to the cashier who does this every single day. Also, over on my second channel, I did post a public freakout that happened over at Dollar Tree. Yeah, I have a second channel. Did you not know?
You're yelling at her and telling her to triple bag your candles.
I am the man.
And if I want 5 bags, what the hell business is it of yours? You think I'm a friend of you? Have a good night.
Over on my second channel, we have a lot more fun. I do a lot more laid back kind of videos. So if you're not currently following over on my second channel, which is Lindy 2.0, I will link it down in the video description so you can go give me a follow over there. Oh my gosh. That is everything that was stolen. Wow. They had all of that in a bag they were trying to walk out with. Wow, that's a lot of stuff they were trying to steal. It was a whole cart full.
Customers, we're temporarily closing the store because all the associates in the management position are making $7.35. So we're temporarily closing the store and then we're going to leave. So if you would, please put everything that you have down in bags, buggies, or baskets, and please exit the store because we're fixing to.
Did she just say that managers were making $7.25 an hour? This was posted in 2025. This was over the summer of 2025. This is not an old video. $7.25 an hour for a management position, and it's tagged in North Mississippi. What?
Some companies think hens don't need to be outside. We politely disagree.
Packages?
The number to the HR office? No? Ma'am, manager, you're the manager? You don't have the number. Can you open another line, please? This is a long line with massive, miss, there's 7 people on the line, miss.
That's not a long line. A long line is when it's reaching the freezer. That's a long line. And the fact that
So you can't open a line for us. So you can't open a line for us. All right, perfect.
I mean, I don't know how to feel about this one. Clearly, she's trying to stalk. And I understand that, like, you need to stock and you need to man registers, and they're probably understaffed. So why is this customer harassing her? Let her do her damn job. Yeah, it's 7 people, but at least it's not wrapped around the store like it was in that last video that we saw. I don't know. What do you think? Should she stop stalking just because a customer asked her to and go help check out people so that the line doesn't get any longer? I don't know. What do you think? I'm kind of torn. I don't really like it when customers tell people how to do their job, but he might be right. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just in Dollar Tree, and they is getting too much money. When did they get cameras in Dollar Tree, y'all?
When did they allow dogs in Dollar Tree? That is not a service animal. She's worried about the cameras. I'm worried about why she has a dog in Dollar Tree, which reminds me of a story time. So I walked into a Dollar Tree. Don't judge why. I was going to a movie and I wanted a pack of Twizzlers, okay? And I was not about to pay $6 for a small pack of Twizzlers at the movie theater. So yes, I was gonna sneak it in, judge me later. But I walked into Dollar Tree with a friend of mine that I was going to see the movie with, and there was dog shit on the floor. Literally dog shit, and somebody was cleaning it up. Why are dogs allowed in Dollar Tree? Why? Why are dogs allowed in grocery stores? Why are dogs allowed anywhere if they're not technically a service animal? And you know for a fact that they're not a service animal simply for the fact that service animals don't shit on the floor.
Wait, can you come here for a second? I'm having trouble. I know, I'm sorry.
So this caption reads, Dollar Tree do better, overworked employees, stores a mess, and lazy ass coworkers. Oh, let's not forget how a customer volunteered to help fill balloons.
No, I don't apologize at all.
It's just not working. Like, I don't understand. It's just not working. I don't know. Like, is it letting me?
Look at that long ass line and what the register's just not working. And she called the manager up, and the manager's just like, oh, well, it's not working.
So she was no help.
Wait, can you come here?
Wow. Chaos at Dollar Tree is unmatched.
It's just like a bottom store, though, for real. You gotta realize who you're talking to. I'm not an average. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? You stood up here for 5 minutes laughing and joking about the lady going around with them in the whole area. You did. You're managing. So why she standing up here laughing and talking to customers and the lines down the you standing here for 15, 20 minutes? You said you was the manager.
She is too.
Why are you asking me? But you're the manager. I'm not talking about you. Did you say you was going home? I'm sorry. I so happen to manage shit for a living, so I just noticed that. My fault, though. My fault. You really don't matter for real, but you know, you put yourself in it. No, I can't. I'm here. But you can already go home though, so you out of it then.
It's not over. I'm going to finish off about 3 short.
So the caption reads, so all my son wanted was to get some supplies for home, and we were subjected to.
Which foundation is good for a steamy situation? All right. It's a hot pot date. Hot pot date. Got it.
So we're at the dollar store right now in the t-shirt section, and we're looking through the dollar tees, and we found this blue t-shirt with this piece of tape over the logo, and we were curious as
that looks like Nike. Does that not look like Nike?
most children are curious. And Eli pointed out that
if you look closely under the tape, you can see this swoosh, and it says the Nike T.
So Nike sells their t-shirts to the dollar store.
The more you know.
Destroying the merchandise. Oh, okay, I guess. I'll just say no. Actually, you just knocked this over, ma'am. Oh, I did. I'm sorry because you're blocking the house with the kids and everything. You're not good. Yeah.
She said it's okay. She said it's okay.
She's a mean old biddy, ain't she?
And I come over here and I look down. So I know you see that. Look at this one.
Okay.
Look at this one. You see that? That's disgusting, bro. And
Ew. Clearly, people can see that that's bad. Why is that still in there? What is up with people driving their cars through Dollar Tree? That seems like a good enough place to end, don't you think? That right there is why it's always Dollar Tree. It's the same.
Okay, Dollar Tree issues. Dollar Tree. I'm going to play this one. Let me know if you guys want to hear this one here. It's 10 minutes. Let me know. And I'll...
Train your mind to be stronger than your feelings. Don't overshare. Privacy is power. Problems are not stop signs. They are guidelines. Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad. Some are happy. But all are necessary for the full story. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who fight battles we know nothing about. The pain you feel today will be the strength you feel tomorrow. Sometimes we're tested not to show our weaknesses, but to discover our strengths. Never tolerate disrespect, not even from yourself. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but gets you nowhere. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for.
How's this so far, you guys?
When you stop chasing the wrong things, the right ones catch up. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. Focus on you. People come and go. Sometimes, the things that break your heart end up fixing your vision. Your deepest, darkest moment may be the best thing that ever happens to you. Learn to heal without venting to everyone. Time always exposes what you truly mean to. You're being judged no matter what. So be who you want to be. If you are not falling down occasionally, you are just coasting. First, it hurts. Then it makes you stronger. Work at your job and make a living. Work on yourself and make a fortune. Striving for success without hard work is like trying to harvest where you haven't planted. If you don't let go of the wrong people, you'll never meet the right people. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. There will always be someone who doesn't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Do what no one else can do, and you will become what no one else can become.
6 minutes.
Make more moves and less announcements. Remember, 5 years ago, you dreamed about being where you are now. Think about it. Playing it safe is the most dangerous thing you can do in life. Never be embarrassed to struggle. There is absolutely hard to get to where you want to be. Rowing harder doesn't help if the boat is headed in the wrong direction. You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. Let the improvement of yourself keep you so busy that you have no time to criticize others. Guard well your thoughts when alone, and your words when accompanied. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Talking without thinking is like shooting without aiming. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. The fact that you aren't where you want to be should be enough motivation. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Stop telling people everything. Most people don't care, and some secretly want you to fail. It's a slow process, but quitting won't speed it up. What comes easy won't last.
4 minutes.
What lasts won't come easy. Don't ruin a good today by thinking about a bad yesterday. Let it go. Success is what happens after you've survived all your mistakes. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Before something great happens, everything falls apart. If someone tells you you can't, they're showing you their limits, not yours. If you live for people's acceptance, you will die from their rejection. There are two types of pains, one that hurts you and the other that changes you. One day you'll see why God made you wait. For your peace of mind, don't let people know too much about you. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Be selfish with your time. A lot of people don't deserve it. Silence is the best answer to someone who doesn't value your words. Fear is temporary. Regret is forever. Your future needs you. Your past doesn't. Don't get burned twice by the same flame. Worrying about losing is losing before you begin. Excuses make today easier, but tomorrow harder. Discipline makes today hard, but tomorrow easier. Don't give up. You are closer than you think. Sometimes being alone is the best medicine to your soul. We fall, we break, we fail, but then we rise, we heal, we overcome. Sacrifice a few years of comfort for decades of freedom. Have patience. All things are difficult before they become easy. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. If you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. If you don't try, nothing will ever happen. Don't give up on yourself. There's a reason why you start. Learn from who you were, appreciate who you've become, and carefully invest into who you want to be.
I'm glad I played that one, Flying Eagle. I didn't know that was good. Okay, two more short ones, you guys.
Good morning, guys. It's Heidi from Wash the Water,
1
and
minute.
I have been looking at some stuff because I had a conversation with my mom, and there was a satanic cult in the town that I was raised in, and a young boy that I was in high school with actually stabbed a baby and teenage girl. A few other boys involved. But anyway, going into the story, fast forward, he'd been in jail for years, and his aunt and uncle were driving to see him, and they crashed and allegedly died. And the first thing that came to my mind when my mom was telling them was satanic ritual, or almost like it was meant to be done because of what he had done, like a eye for an eye. Anyway, they were allegedly brain dead. And you all know I have interviewed Dr. Paul Byrne. There's no brain death. They do it for organ harvesting, money off your stuff. Anyway, they had given their organs, obviously, away, and it was very quick. The accident happened, they were brain dead, and less than 24 hours, they're giving their organs. So I freaked out my mother, and I had asked her, "Are you thinking about being an organ donor?" And she said, "Maybe, yeah." And of course, I went nuts. And I was like, Mom, you knew about the vaccines. You told me at first you didn't believe me. And then you came around. And now this. And she just goes, Heidi, not everything's a conspiracy. And it's not a conspiracy. It's the fact of knowing the truth. So long story short, it's really upset me and gone into overdrive and got me thinking again about Camp Mystic. And like tying in everything. And I am going to drop a video of an interview with a girl that was in the beginning talking about Camp Mystic with Sean Ryan. But there's a 9-minute section that everyone needs to hear. It's a must hear of what she says goes on with this organ harvesting. You guys, it's freaking unbelievable. And it makes me wonder why they're doing this and tying it in kind of with Camp Mystic. They talk about a camp for a short second, like summer camp. And we all talked about it when this happened. I was one of the forefronts in trying to figure out why this happened. You know, whether we went through every aspect, and I was attacked because I brought up the organ harvesting with these girls. And I also said some of them probably didn't die, but that camp, remember, has had flooding for more than once. So, and it is an elite camp. So this money is being passed through, and this woman has worked with philanthropists, which are Freemasons. So I want you to really think and listen to her interview, but I will deal with my mom. But I just wanted to do a short video on this. I'm working 3 jobs right now, so I'm trying to get to everything and do as much as I can, but this is heavily weighing on me. And I'm going to drop some things, but please listen to this video and say a prayer for my mom, because I'll tell you right now, it's something that weighs on my heart, and especially knowing about Paul Byrne. And I will re-drop that video with Dr. Paul Byrne that we did with one of my admins, Sue, and her husband, who came along with me in Ohio. Anyway, so I hope you're all having a good day. Things are heating up. And for those of you in that weather pattern, please keep us up to date. I pray for you all. Seriously, because that's like where I have family and my kids. So we shall see what happens. But have a great day, and I will check back in. Thank you for your time.
Okay, watch the water, lady. The last one's going to be a 5-minute one. Is Q.
Finally happened after decades of the Clintons flying around and doing what they felt that they could do and getting away with all of the illegal acts, doing away with just nothing but lawlessness and being able to skate through the justice system without a scratch. The House committee, the Oversight Committee, James Comer has delivered. They have found them in contempt. The Clintons figured nothing would ever happen. They figured they would not go in front of the committee and testify, even though the House Oversight Committee has subpoena power. They refused to show up because they felt that they were above the law. And not only did 8 Democrats vote along with the Republicans to find Bill Clinton in contempt, 3 Democrats voted along with the Republicans to find Hillary Clinton in contempt as well. So now it goes on to the House floor, and now Republicans have the ability to finally do what the Republicans and go ahead and refer them for criminal charges. At that point, then it comes down to Pam Bondi. It comes down to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was up in his first term. The people chanted, lock her up. Now, we have precedents, because if you remember correctly, not only was Peter Navarro, but also Steve Bannon, they were both locked up for this exact same thing. They were locked up for failing to comply with a subpoena from Congress from the January 6th committee. The difference is they invoked executive privilege. The president told them they did not have to comply, and he explained to them that they shouldn't. They shouldn't go and sit in front of them and legitimize the January 6th committee, which was not a legal committee, but the oversight committee is. And so now they have drawn a line in the sand. The question is now, will Pam Bondi actually indict? Will Pam Bondi actually put the Clintons in jail? They're guilty. They're guilty. They did do what the House Oversight Committee has decided they did. They were found in contempt, and now jail time must follow. The question is, do you feel that Donald Trump and Pam Bondi will pull the trigger? Will he finally lock her up? Will Pam Bondi have the guts to finally stand up and say no one is above the law? Now, we know what's going on. The only reason that the Democrats went ahead and followed along with this is so that they could say, we don't believe anyone's above the law. We want Donald Trump next. That's where this is going. But guys, let's be fair. If Donald Trump had anything to do with Epstein, I guarantee you at this point he would already be in prison, because they wanted to lock up Donald Trump from the very beginning. The Democrats for years had this list. They had this information. If Donald Trump had anything to do with Epstein, they would not have gone to make up charges. They would have simply prosecuted him a long time ago. So does Donald Trump follow through on this? Does Pam Bondi follow through on this and put them in prison? We will soon find out. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Pam Bondi is actually going to follow through on this, or do you feel that she's going to let them go? Comment.
Okay, I thought tonight was a good one. A lot better than not having those long videos, so had a lot of short ones tonight. So I'll try to stay away from those long videos. So Wednesday down, tomorrow's Thursday. So another night of intel. JJ. And anything happens, hopefully I can be one show tomorrow. This is so much that comes out, and I gotta come on because is intel needs to get out. But we'll see how things go. So all the mods, okay, Tim and Lucy, Carol was quiet tonight. Let's see her in here tonight, I don't think. All right. God bless everybody. I love you all. Remember, please hit like. Make sure you sub to the backup channels in the description box, please. And stay strong. Keep the faith. Stay warm wherever you are. And never give up. Signing up till tomorrow evening. Enough sooner. Chico and Dude. Have a good one, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Shoot.